Hi friends, myself Hemanth from Nyeras. I'm going to be handling history, and today I'm going to be giving you a demo session on what history is and what are the requirements from the perspective of UPSC. So let's get in. History as a subject which gives you an idea of oneself, of what our previous generation was, of who we are, etc. History as a whole, from the perspective of UPSC, has been divided into three categories: the ancient, medieval, and modern. So from the perspective of UPSC, it is not required to go in deep, like in case when we studied in our high schools or from the 6th standards, etc., where we used to remember each and every specific detail, like what were the events going on, the exact specific dates. This is not required from the perspective of UPSC. From the UPSC perspective, only certain events which are important has to be remembered with respect to dates, etc. Rest of them, if we are able to recognize them, that's enough from the prelims perspective. So from the mains perspective, we need to have a proper knowledge, especially in case of ancient history, where we will be dealing with art and culture. Art and culture. This part is quite important from the mains perspective, because here we will be having information on each and every kingdom and their contribution with respect to art and architectures. So a 3 to 4 line descriptive on each art, on each architectures, etc. will be good if we include it in the mains answer scripts. So ancient history, it deals with the Stone Age till the arrival of Delhi Sultanate. We will be having a vast timeline to discuss, but everything is important? No. Only certain kings and their contribution to art and architecture, administration, political rule, etc. is being looked upon, which we will see in the future classes to come in. Now coming to the medieval history. Medieval history deals with the arrival of Mahmud of Ghazni, who will eventually lead to the Qutbuddin Aibak, who will be a slave. He will be lived to rule upon, and he will set up the slave dynasty, and from then onwards starts the Delhi Sultanate. From this Delhi Sultanate till the British arrives will be our medieval history. Medieval history, on the whole, it is not quite important, but there are some terms and which has to be remembered as it is from the medieval perspective. Like example, there's a term called as banyan, which refers to traders. Such terms are quite important from the perspective of medieval history, because these terms can be asked as in such in the prelims question papers. Another important aspect from medieval history is the Khiljis, because this Khilji dynasty introduced something called as the market reforms. This market reforms, in detail we'll see it in the classes, but these market reforms, it played a very important role in the administration of the Khiljis, and this was even adapted in the future kingdoms as well in their political administrations. So medieval history on the whole, it's not quite important, but yes, we have to have a broad idea about it also. Now comes the modern history, which is the most important one with respect to the mains, the prelims, etc. The weightage wise, it goes like modern, ancient, and medieval history, the basis on which they ask the questions. So modern history deals with the arrival of the Europeans, the independence struggle after what we got an independence, and later onwards also till present. So in this modern history, we will be looking in detail about the British, their rule and administration after the 1857, before 1857, how their rule changed, etc. And then the arrival of Gandhiji, how he transformed this ununited struggle into a united one, and how we got our independence on the whole, etc. Now, this being a brief on what history is, let me tell you on how history gets used in UPSC. So history has a subject we need to study for general studies and the mains, but history has been even added in optional subjects. There are totally 7 subjects in the mains examination, 4 general study subjects, 1 essay subject, 2 language and 2 options. So this optional subject is where history comes in. So when we choose optionals, history optionals, it will give us a more broader perspective for us to answer to all these papers, whether we give in an introduction or an example or the conclusion. So history plays a role in all these general subjects, as well as essays. It plays a very important role, because essays we have to write approximately up to 1000 to 2000 words, in which history can be used as a part. So apart from UPSC, where does history come in? History will be also useful when we are selected as a civil servants. When we come into service, if something is going on like an excavation, etc., if we have a knowledge about what is going on, it will be helpful for us to guide the archaeological team, etc. So history, it plays an important role, and it is the origin of everything. Every single subject has its origin in history, be it maths, economics, polity, geography, etc. So this being the brief about what history is and what UPSC demands, I will be dealing with history in a pictorial manner, because history as a whole is a static subject where you need to remember certain facts, and it will be bored. You will be bored as I go on teaching you about history, but in Nyeras, I will be trying to incorporate it in a pictorial manner, where you see a movie, we learn something, right? Like examples like the recent movie Ponniyin Selvan, where we learned about the Cholas, their type of administration, their contribution to the art and architecture. Not only the Cholas, even we will see about Rashtrakutas there fighting, right? So learning history from a movie perspective, from pictorial perspective, will help us to retain it in our mind and to recollect it in the time of examinations. So this being said, I'll be seeing you guys in the classrooms with a detailed overview of all the 3 parts of history: ancient, medieval and modern. Thank you.